You throw a dart on the map and it's like, boom, we're going somewhere epic. And like you drive 3.5 hours and you don't know if it's gonna work. I was like, let's get everyone together, do 24 hours just camping at Glamis sand dunes. A lot of the tricks that I did for this project are tricks that I did in the first OC Ramps video, or I did in the Hubba video. And what could I do 20 years later? So it was actually really rad to work on tricks that I did 20 years ago and see if I could still do them, because you can see the process of how many attempts it took to do this trick 20 years later, and also checking off tricks that I've never done before. So to put it in perspective, 2015, it was my 30th birthday, and we were driving to Arizona, and I stumbled into the sand dunes. And I was like, damn, it would be cool like for a location to bring a mini ramp. It ended up being 10 years later to the date that we brought the mini ramp out there. It was really rad. Like, we didn't know what we were getting into. Permits, campsite, was there gonna be a sandstorm? We've only seen things from Google Maps and looking at the satellite view. We showed up at like 1 in the afternoon and had like perfect lighting, and it was like, where are we gonna put this ramp? Like, we gotta set up shop not too far away from the truck to bring all those pieces out into the sand dunes and build it, and just having Tide be like, let's just make it happen.
At OC Ramps, our bread and butter is manufacturing skateboard ramps in the kit form. And in fact, a huge reason why we actually did this trip with Dave, the timing was perfect because we just celebrated our 20th year in business. Dave had this idea, but he didn't know exactly where in the sand dunes to set up the ramp. So we tried to gather as much intel as we could without actually physically going there. The idea is that when we show up on site, that 99% of the ramp is at least ready to go.
So it was like trying to find a location that had a backdrop that was just like eye-catching. Where's the sun gonna rise? Where's the sun gonna set? Like, we only had 4 hours, so we ended up setting it up as best as we could.
We just parked right off the side of the little path that they had, built the ramps, and who knows what could have happened. We had no idea what we were getting into. Who was gonna pop up, show up, give us trouble, or hype us up.
I think there was something special about taking a ramp this size and just putting it in the middle of the sand dunes. Just like, wow, where is that? It was like a pinnacle of like a spot. We had like motorcycles, the 4x4s, everyone's showing up because you just have this endless acres of sand dunes, and they're just cutting through with their 4x4s, and then all of a sudden they see a mini ramp and it's like, whoa, what is this?
On go mode. As soon as that ramp, that last two got put in, you straight to it. And the last one off the ramp and the first one on the ramp the next morning. It was an honor to see them that dedicated and everything we've done.
Everyone that we brought out there was just so like talented.
It was a beautiful thing to watch the Dern brothers skate, it always is, and then immediately start skating doubles. I mean, that was pretty epic. The ramp's only 4 foot tall, and the tricks that they were doing were something that you would typically see of a way taller ramp.
Brendan's just full energy. It's so rad to have him out there. Half cab heel, nose, pop to back tail. Burtis, having him skate the mini ramp is awesome to see.
Christian, my friend who was out there visiting from the East Coast, that dude's a mini ramper.
Tom, I mean, you're gonna get something out of Playboy magazine on mini ramp. It's epic. It's gonna be our show. The golden hour hit, and Tom put on his suit, and it was like the sickest, most photogenic shot.
Having the sand rails ride by simultaneously, that the guys are doing tricks, and that you have the sun setting behind us, like everything all happening at once, that for me was more of like the cinematography that was pretty epic.
It's crazy seeing Dave how dedicated he was to the video. I mean, 10 years since they filmed the last one, pretty crazy, and just to see him still skating at such a high level, which is mind-boggling.
And him like really like honing in and focusing in on actually filming tricks and ones that he's even never done before was like, I don't know, dude. He's always been one of my favorite skaters, one of my favorite people, so it was amazing to watch, hype him up, and just be there for the good times.
I obviously did get a little bit anxious as the day went on because we've done enough mini ramp projects that the guys get all hyped on skating, everyone's having a good time, which is honestly purpose number one of us being there. But as the hours go by, we're like, wait a second, we were supposed to get a certain amount of tricks. People are driving up to our ramp to converse with us, which is super cool and fun. But I'm also looking at the clock going, we've got like another 2 hours before the sun's going down. That first day was extremely important and valuable.
I'm doing tricks that I've never done before and I'll never do again. We're working on the Formula 2, and it's basically the process of all these tricks and seeing it in a visual form. The amount of attempts that go into landing one trick, it can be so many. I can't even believe that we ended up getting as much footage as we did.
The sun went down, and I thought the session was over. Tyler came out and started putting floodlights on it. I was gonna keep going. Everybody just kept skating. It was awesome. We had the fire going. Like, I'll remember that forever.
I couldn't believe how hard those guys were skating. Like when we were around the bonfire, the ramps in the background, there was these sand rails that had these epic LED lights. All that together, it was just unreal.
What was really rad was Little Wayne, we did a shoot with 2 Chainz out on the Salt Flats, and we built a mini ramp out there. And I did nose blunt, manual blunt flip, and 10 years later, we go out to the sand dunes, and I do back nose blunt, manual blunt flip at 6:30 in the morning before anyone's up. But that was all because of doing a music video out in the Salt Flats, and then 10 years later, building this mini ramp out in the sand dunes and getting that opposite trick. We ended up skating all night, all day, and just 24 hours, like, couldn't move on the drive home. Like, so sore, I didn't move for 48 hours after.
For me, that was a dream trip, dude. So it was 24 hours. It was the most fun you could have packed in a 24-hour time frame that I can imagine. So going way back to when he started filming these OC ramps, mini ramp missions, I always would just like kind of look at it and be like, dude, I hope I get invited to one of those one day. And just being able to be there and see it happen and see him doing it, and then being able to be a part of it and watch it all get built, and then just like everything that was in the mix, from the dune buggies to like just the people that were partying there, dude, it was a 10 out of 10. I'll never forget the mission. Like, it was so sick.
There's something special about getting the crew together and just getting slash grinds and just like having fun, and then just having a campfire and kicking around and having those moments with all good friends, you know? Like, we need more of these kind of missions, and this one was one for the books. Let's make these missions and just see if it works.